I told you you'd see me again. When I was inaugurated 15 years ago, I told this story, and when I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, I thought this would be a great story to tell again, because it's equally applicable, and the ambassador has already shown that he appreciates the moral of this story. It's a story attributed to Mark Twain, who said he was in a strange city and saw a sign inviting interested people to hear a sermon by a visiting missionary. Twain says he was interested in the topic, so he attended the meeting. He tells us that after 3 minutes of the sermon, he was so taken with the missionary's zeal and his work that he resolved to contribute $1,000 to the cause. 5 minutes later, as the sermon continued, Twain concluded that $1,000 wasn't enough, so he decided to give $10,000. 4 minutes later, Twain was so moved that he decided to donate all of his money and other assets to the cause and devote the rest of his life working without pay for the goals of the missionary. 10 minutes later in the sermon, Twain decided that $10,000 was probably enough. 15 minutes later into the sermon, he decided that $50 was actually probably appropriate. A half hour later, when the collection plate was passed, Twain tells us that through great self-control and effort, he took only $2 from the plate. Again, it's a lesson the ambassador learned. As he said, in fact, I was struck as he was speaking by how similar our message or thoughts would be today. We face difficult times, as the ambassador said, and as you know, there are some people who are confused by these times, and some who are a little less optimistic, and some who are more. Let me talk a little bit about some from each side. The great American, probably the greatest American philosopher of the 20th century, Woody Allen, once said, more than at any other time in history, mankind faces a crossroads. One path leads to despair and utter hopelessness, the other to total extinction. Let us pray we have the wisdom to choose correctly. I speak, by the way, not with any sense of futility, Allen said, but with a panicky conviction of the absolute meaninglessness of existence that could easily be misinterpreted as pessimism. It is not. It is merely a healthy concern for the predicament of modern man. I thought that was a riot, but anyway. Also, at a commencement like this, the famous writer, journalist Russell Baker said, this is about you going out into the world. The best advice I can give anybody about going out into the world is this: don't do it. I have been out there. It's a mess. So that's one side of the coin. Several years ago, by the way, Woody Allen also once said, the only thing that stands between me and success is me. Several years ago on this stage, one of our other commencement speakers, and our faculty and staff will remember this, Dan Rather, quoted Winston Churchill, which I still think is one of the best pieces of advice any commencement speaker has ever given. And basically, mirroring what the ambassador said today, Mr. Churchill said, I quote, "Never give in, never give in, never, 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 in nothing great or small, large or petty, except in conviction or honor, and only for good cause. Never yield." Then he went down and then he stood, went back to his seat, and that was his whole commencement speech. I'm not sure I can top that, other than by telling a story of what's called a man of perseverance. And these are all allegedly true facts. When he was 7 years old, this man, his family was forced out of their home on a legal technicality, and he had to work to help support them. At 9, his mother died. At 22, he lost his job as a store clerk. He wanted to go to law school, but his education wasn't good enough. At 23, he went into debt to become a partner in a small store. At 26, his business partner died, leaving him with a huge debt that took years to repay. At 28, after courting a girl for 4 years, he asked her to marry him. She said no. At 37, on his third try, he was elected to Congress. But 2 years later, he failed to be reelected. At 41, his 4-year-old son died. At 45, he ran for the Senate and lost. At 47, he failed as a vice presidential candidate. At 49, he ran for the Senate and lost again. At 51, he was elected President of the United States of America. His name was Abraham Lincoln, probably our greatest president. And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Lincoln thanks you, too. Let me quote Mark Twain again, who once said, this is for the graduates, keep away from people, quote, keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that. But the really great ones make you feel that you, too, can become great. The American playwright Wendy Wasserstein said, don't live down to expectations. Go out there and do something remarkable. For years, I've been giving graduates advice, counsel, good cheer, saying I hope that as you go out into the world, you meet all your ambitions and you have a great life. This is the first time I'm going out into that world with you. So let's all go out and have a great rest of our lives. Thank you very much.
You've heard this before. It is my pleasure to present President Martin J. Anisman with the highest recognition that Daemen College can bestow. Candidates for these degrees have demonstrated in life and in work high standards of excellence as evidenced by professional development and service to the world. This in turn contributes to the development of society and serves as a model for present and future generations. It gives me great pleasure to present the degree of Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters to President Martin J. Anisman. Congratulations.
The good news is you're getting your exercise. Thank you so much. This is totally unexpected. Thank you so much.